Now, good day, class. As I am going to orient you again with the output at the end of the 500 hours of your internship or OJT. This is the on-the-job training portfolio. And as you can see, there's the cover and the approval sheet. For the date, this should be just the day, the month and the year. So just make sure, since your deadline is June, that you put there June 2022. That should be the date. Then for the approval sheet, that's also going to be in the provided template. Then you have acknowledgement. These are the different table of contents, the list of figures. So always in third person. And of course, the appendices. So this is your company profile. You have to ask this from your superior, or you can check out their website. Now, aside from that, they have the company background. Their company policy. So you're going to ask this, or if your superior is busy, then you can just remember what you have been given during the orientation, like your official time schedule and what are their policies if you happen to be late, or if there are holidays, the official breaks. They have your lunch break in 30-minute intervals or durations, or if you have a coffee break. So it depends on the company. And then you need the org chart. Now, for those doing the online internship, majority of you are doing this. You need your training photos. So like this student is on work from home, and this is his photo while he's doing the task. And his photo with the other interns as their supervisor is giving a lecture. And this is their online meeting with their superior. They also provided he also provided the picture that I have with the industry partner representative. Then for the appendices, you have the OJT application form, which was already required during the prelims. So make sure you have all your documents signed. Then the recommendation letter, you can check your email with that endorsement, the application letter. And then the curriculum vitae, or most usually know resume. The waiver for internship, which should have been signed and notarized. So signed by your parent. Then for the internship program agreement and liability waiver, signed by you, me, and your guardian or parent. Now, you also have the health assessment form. Why? This is in lieu of the medical certificate. So you just have to fill it out. Again, it's in the OJT forms, SY 2021-2022, Google Drive folder. Acceptance letter, which you are supposed to be claiming from your superior. The work from home agreement, so specify all the necessary details asked. So what's important is that you also sign it. Again, the date should be, you're going to, like in this particular example, the date is February 15. Then the superior signs, that's fine, February 15. But I should not be at the same date of the signing, meaning my signature should be on a different date. Okay, why? Because it's usually after a day or two when the other party signs. And then let's go further. the weekly accomplishment report. So the meat of the matter, you're going to be putting there all the details. So like what I've mentioned in the past, your name, the department where you were assigned, your time in, time out, and the number of hours accumulated per day. And then you also need to supply all the details of your tasks. Okay, so you have to mention it there. Some, they are verbose, like in this case, his data is really verbose, meaning word per word. But some, they just put their web design or data science research, and the rest would, of course, be following suit. So there's the weekly total hours completed. So it was deducted from the 500 hours, signed, of course, by the superior. Again, no signature, then that makes for an invalid weekly accomplishment report. I think, never mind the title, no? He had a typographical error. So go through the 500 hours in your weekly accomplishment reports, and your total should be, of course, 500 hours or more. In his case, he garnered 515 hours and 32 minutes. So as long as it is 500 hours or greater than that, that's fine. Then you have 0 remaining hours. So that's for the weekly accomplishment report. Now, for the timesheet, there are some companies who already have their own timesheet, but I suggest that if you do, give to them their required timesheet. But for me, as I mentioned, we have our own template. You have to provide, again, the same data of your attendance. So time in, time out, number of hours. And for the convenience of your superior, I suggest don't ask him or her to sign every day. Just finish the 500 hours first before you ask the superior to sign your timesheet. So like this, then you can just put the curly braces like so. And then ask them to sign here. Okay? So for every page, there should be a signature. Then this is when the company will be giving to you, company representative will be giving to you your final exam score. So you really have to please your superiors, please in terms of the deliverables, like submit the outputs on time or even before the deadline, and so on and so forth. So this is the form. You will have to email this to your superior, and then your superior, so CC me, meaning put me on as carbon copy in the email recipients, and then make sure that you already underline the semester and put the necessary school year as well as your details. Then this will be the job of your superior. There will be the different criteria. So like the work attitude, the functional effectiveness, the interpersonal skills, and then that will be summed up. So there's the score, and the company representative will also indicate if you were being recommended as an employee to their company or not. Okay? And then, of course, there's the signature to make that valid. After the practicum evaluation form or the industry immersion evaluation form from the company superior, the next is you will be evaluating the OJT company. So again, supply the necessary information like the semester, this one, and the school year. So it should be 2021 to 2022. The company name, the address, the department, the training period. So start date, end date, And then the evaluator or practicumer, this is supposed to be the name of the student. So please disregard the name of the year. It should be the student's name. Okay? Then the date of the evaluation. Another note, this should be after the 500 hours. So if you finished on May 7, this should not be May 7. This should be May 8 or May 9, as long as it's after the 500 hours. Next is you have to encircle the necessary ratings. So in this case, these are the ratings given by that former OJT. And then you have to give the total. So here, so 25 after counting the ratings. And then, so 25 divided by 5, and then do the math. So that is the result, which is 5. Now for the part B, it says here you have to rank the following scale. So take note, rank. That means there should not be 2 1s or 2 3s. Okay, so the first is, in his case, programming. Second rank is web or mobile development, and so on and so forth. So it has to be based on the most important or majority of the tasks given to you. So you did not see encoding, filing, because those can be done by non-IT majors. Again, this should be the application of your 4 years of studying your degree program. Next is, we have your part C, the training methods used. So again, give the rating. You can encircle the rating that you're giving. So this is conduct of lecture or discussion. Did not conduct, rarely conducted, sometimes conducted, frequently conducted, always conducted. So look at the top, the header of that particular row, and you can see that there are numbers. So this is 5. That's why the particular point will be 5. Until you're able to, again, sum them all up, and you have, again, the result, which is 5. So there are 4 parts, parts A to D. Okay, so for this, it's 10 divided by 2, which is 5. The template is also in the OJT forms. And you have the learning outcomes. So what did you learn? In this case, being on time, and so on and so forth. Now, always make sure you also provide the general observations like the strengths and the rooms for improvement of the company. In his case, he provided only strengths. There's no recommendation. So part A, now for this summary at the bottom, you have to get the result of your part A, part C, and part D ratings. So that's why it's 5, because part A okay, so just get the results per part. And then, so after I have let me put it back. After I have shown to you the training institution evaluation form, now you're going to get the total per part like this, and then there's the division. So you have to divide it by 3 as stated, and then the result will have a scale equivalent. So Since it's 5, that is excellent, 4, satisfactory, and so on. Make sure you also sign the form and put the date, which is after the 500 hours. And I suggest also, after you have done that, you're going to do the practicum program evaluation form. It's a 360-degree evaluation. Aside from the company evaluating you evaluating the OJT company, next will be you're going to evaluate the practicum program. So this will be the form, and you will just have to do the same thing. Okay? Sign it. Then the practicum agency feedback form, our OJT company where you were deployed to will also evaluate the practicum program. Okay, so we are the practicum agency, the one who provides them the practicumers. So this is also for the OJT company to fill out. Then, of course, the last is the certificate of completion, which is going to be provided by the company. And it should state that you finished 500 hours with the start date and the end date signed by the OJT company superior. So you will find the forms, as I've mentioned, in the OJT form school year 2021-2022. You can check it out in Canvas. So over here, there's your sample OJT. Portfolio preliminaries and write-up. So click that. And that will be for you to work on your OJT portfolio as early as now, so that you will be prepared, and all you just have to do is to supply the necessary documents as stated in the table of contents. So the rest of the documents are also here, like the practicum, this one you have the practicum industry immersion evaluation or industry immersion evaluation. And the other documents, so they're all there. Okay, even the timesheet, you can also get the timesheet. The timesheet is here, OJT timesheet, as well as the health assessment form. So they're all there. You just have to make sure you know where to find it. So as I've mentioned, you can go to your Canvas. Let me open Canvas. Okay, so can you see the Canvas screen now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So thank you. So you have to go to your Canvas, go to modules. In the modules interface, you have there week 1 for the guidelines. And then there's also the other documents in week 2. And so they're all there. Okay, so now we're going to proceed. So that's for the OJT portfolio. We're going to proceed to the lesson for today, which is about leadership. So I'll be sharing to you this video.
All right, well, look, let's start. When you think about leadership, So come up to that marker.
So I look straight down the barrel.
You ready to go?
All right, well, look, let's start. When you think about leadership, what comes to your mind?
It's a good question.
Leading?
A few different words, actually. Probably responsibility, integrity, vision.
Someone that you aspire to want to be like.
We often have this idea that leaders are the people who are just like dictators, and they want to stop us from doing things and make us force us, put us into place, and make us be robots.
Well, for me, leadership doesn't come from above. It comes from energies that are pushing you up.
Inspire confidence in someone to get something done.
You know, it's not just about you, it's about them, the team.
Bottom line is that the whole can be greater than the sum of the parts.
It's important for generations coming through to have people ahead of them that aren't saying,
It's someone who's willing to fight.
I think walking the talk rather than just saying things that you don't actually do.
I don't know what proportion of the population are cut out to be leaders, but it's probably not that many.
You see, I believe everyone can. I believe everyone can.
I think a leadership title, that doesn't mean much without the right qualities.
Traditionally, when we think of a leader, we think of like a person of power or influence. But even at uni, you see people in tutorials, they're leading conversation or ideas.
I think that someone with an eye to humanity's problems is really admirable.
Be part of the motion of humanity.
Standing up, being counted, you need brave people. And also it's exciting to be someone who tries to make a difference.
Watching people doing great things and you just feel inspired and want to talk to them and learn from them and do the same or even better things.
I think real leadership is about changing people's lives for the better.
Any comments about the video? What do you think is leadership, class? How about Shane Valete? Kindly unmute. What is leadership for you, Shane? Hi, can you hear me, guys? Hi, guys. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what do you think is leadership? How about John Rico Estaris?
Ma'am, hindi ko po napanood yung video.
Okay. Anyway, let's just, just take it from your own understanding. For you, what is leadership? Think of the leaders that you know. How about Mark Ivan Mañas? Hi, Mark.
Yeah, ma'am.
What do you think is leadership?
A leader can change people, make them move, know their strengths to help them. A leader can help people motivate themselves, accomplish tasks by being not just a person who assigned them a task, but a person who motivates them to accomplish their task.
So I like what he said, motivates, someone who motivates. Yes, that's true. So let me continue with the Next, instructional material. So this is found in week 8, as I've said. So let's share. Let me share again week 8. So that's a video about leadership, and people have different notions or opinions, comments about what leadership is really all about. So I want to show to you first the management and leadership PowerPoint file. So you can download this so that you see it better. A lot of people are followers. It takes someone to really stand up and want to, it takes not just a desire, but it has to be a deep-rooted or a deep and profound. It has to be a deep and profound reason for someone to want to be a leader. So let me share this screen. Management and leadership. So this is the topic. So we're now connecting your idea of leadership with management. So it's a marriage between management and leadership. Leadership skills don't come naturally to everyone, but they can play a major part in a leader's success. We have some few points that we can consider for leadership with a management role. For example, usually at the onset of being hired in a company, you're not immediately a manager because you need the necessary competence, experience for that particular role. So in order for you to learn the ropes of becoming a leader, these are some of what you can think about. So lead by example. Do you know Batman and the Joker? So this is just to make it more simple, but there are different heroes around us. So the leader could be more probably like Batman in this case. And the best leaders are able to set an example to their team. So they set a good example. This means behaving as you want your employees to behave. In other words, you don't just say what you want people to do, but there's a term called walk the talk. What you say, you have to do it too, so that people will follow. Like if you say, team, we need to be at the office by 8 a.m. on Tuesday. But then if he arrives at the office even at 8:05, then that is already not walking the talk, meaning what he said should also be done primarily by the one speaking. So by the manager or by the leader. So this means behaving as you want others to behave. Next is you also have to create the above the line mentality, meaning we don't just settle for second best, like what the Filipino words pwede na means. We don't just settle for pwede na to, okay na yan. But instead, we rise above the norm. We aim for excellence. And that is what leaders are. So the best leaders are able to set an example to their teams, not like the Joker. So the Joker is obviously the opposite of Batman, right? So this means behaving like how the heroes or role models will behave. So here are the ways how you can improve weaknesses and build on strengths. If you remember during the mock interview, I asked you for your strengths and weaknesses. The point is that the employers ask for your strengths so that they can put you at a position where you will be good at. And they also ask you for your weaknesses so that you will also be given the opportunities to improve on them. A good leader and the manager knows the team's strengths and assigns responsibilities based on these. So look at the building blocks. In this picture, the building blocks actually, let me annotate this. Look at the building blocks. These are not just there separately, and it keeps on becoming taller through the foundation at the bottom here. So it all starts with the first block. And this is the step to building great architectural infrastructures, you know, like if you've been to, let's say you've been to Makati, the Enterprise Tower, or in BGC in Taguig, you have their skyscrapers, condominiums. It's because it started with one hollow block, right? So these two are symbols of the great persons, the great computing professionals that you can become. So how can you be that leader? Reward your employees for things they do well. Recognize them for their achievements and understand that their skill is one of the best ways to get positive results and win their respect, because everybody would want to have that pat on the back. Next is, we also have, so let's proceed. A leader should also recognize their team's strengths, weaknesses, and establish if there is a skills gap limiting their potential in order to get the best results. Two-way communication with team members and regular two-way feedback sessions are a great way to keep up to speed with this. That's why managers have this open door policy, meaning their door, well, if you're going to the office and you will be meeting with the manager, particularly during your final interview, then you will also notice if the door is closed or the door is open. Managers need to know what's going on with their teams, and they also need to know if a person is experiencing obstacles at work. So communication is the key. This is respect now. Respect can be more important than friendship. So you can see the coach, right, in this football team. So this guy goes, "Yes, coach." Effective leaders recognize that it is more important to be respected by their employees than to be adored. So they know that as a leader, it is their job to make the tough decisions, taking them away from their team. And this is where having their team's respect can be worth far more than simply having their friendship. Work towards developing a relationship with those you are leading, where you can be approached as a friend, but maintaining a level of focus and seriousness in the workplace that will ensure their trust in your leadership. Before I proceed to this, I want to give you an example. I have a boss, and my boss knew how many times I also made mistakes. But instead of putting me to shame, you know, like I've had a boss, this is my 7th job. I've had a boss before, and he really embarrasses his employees. I mean, not embarrassed, but he really puts them at a spot wherein that employee would really feel ashamed for committing a mistake. Now, that's not the way good managers deal with their erring employees. Good managers will talk to the employee, one-on-one at the office, wherein not all the employees can hear him being reprimanded. Why? Because that manager respects the person in front of him. So that is more important than being adored. Next is invest in your people. As a leader, one should recognize that those you are leading will be motivated by more than simply getting the job done. So what could it be to gain their understanding and respect? So you have to know what motivates them. Now, this is an example of a good leader. Good leaders do not just order people to do things. Good leaders motivates their team. So they can set targets and the team actually wants to achieve that target. They don't just settle for their own targets, but they want to meet the target of their boss. So how do you invest on your team? One, you can know their birthdays, like ask them how they spent their weekend or how is the family. So with that, one can feel that the boss is concerned with the employees, not just with the job. Next is let's go back to that. So like time with family. Okay. So that's why I said you can ask your team, like if you will be the team lead or the project manager. That's why it's also important that you know their family. Understanding an individual's personal values indicates what motivates them in life, be it family, fun, experience, career, progression, or even money, to name a few. So that's for investing in your people. Next is your success as a leader depends on the success of others. That's why the symbol here is a domino. So there's the term or dominoes because there's the term domino effect. Okay. I'll give you an example. I didn't really plan to, I never expected, modesty aside, I never expected to get a reward. Now, it so happened that in the past, during the pre-pandemic, I was able to get an industry partner who even provided, take note, a condominium for free condominium for the OJTs because the company is in Parañaque and the students, I told the industry partner, are coming from Valenzuela or Bulacan. So long story short, they provided the condominium, they provided the transportation, meaning they're being picked up at a certain point, let's say along MRT, and then they will be brought to the condominium. And then they also have free electricity, the appliances are there, washing machine, microwave oven, name it. They have free lunch. And then they're also given free transportation from the condominium. They are being picked up by the company driver to the site, so in Parañaque. So I was just talking to them. I told them the concerns of the students because they're from the north and that company is in the south. So that is because I wanted them to get the best. And then what happened next was that after the two OJTs finished their degree program already, they're also IT majors, they were absorbed by the company. So that became their success. They did well. The industry partner was so proud of them. What their employees do in probably 1 month's time, they were able to do in 1 week's time. So that's how fast the students were able to deliver the output. So what am I saying? What I'm saying is a leader can actually become the springboard for the success of other people. It's more of giving. It's not really taking. So giving opportunities for other people to also succeed. So the decision of the leader made a domino effect to the other subordinates. So because of the leader's opportunities for success, then those subordinates benefited from that particular successful opportunity. And because they also did their part, they wanted to do well in their OJT, then they were immediately absorbed by the company. So they're enjoying the benefits already. Next is, a leader is actually someone who knows that his success will depend on the success of his team. So if his subordinates, meaning the ones under him, the ones he is leading, are successfully at work, performing their duties, then all the people in the team are going to be recognized for the success. Like when I did that for the OJTs, I never expected the company will give them such benefits, even if they're still students or they were still students. Then I got nominated for a certain award and I was able to get 2 awards, and that brought success to the College of Computer Studies. So the success of one is the success of all. And your success in your respective OJT companies will also reflect on the entire College of Computer Studies and the Our Lady of Fatima University student success. So for this reason, we have to be mindful that for every task that we do, and we do it to the best of our ability, that effort will beget another good result, and that good result will in turn lead to victory. So how do we do this? Leaders or managers need to conduct regular meetings and appoint relevant people within the team to keep them updated on the various developments. That's why I keep asking for status report. What's the status? I need the weekly accomplishment reports. I have the OJT monitoring Google Sheet. So that way we can have the monitoring. So that is for the management and leadership. Aside from this, you also have to know the best practices of leaders. So there's what you call teamwork. In teamwork, let me share my screen again. So I've mentioned the qualities of a leader and how leadership is done. So how can now teamwork become successful? So always focus on success, on the goal, on what you can achieve. Can you see the screen, class?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So team, together everyone achieves more. TEAM, together everyone achieves more. Not together I achieve more. So everyone. Now teamwork, as you can see by the different pictures here, it's more of synergy. So synergy meaning the strength of one is combined with the strength of the entire team. And with that, they are putting the pieces of the puzzle together. Like if someone is good in web development, so he can take care of that particular task. Someone is good in cloud computing, he can do that task. Another is good in data analytics, he can take care of that. Another is good in network, computer network, so he can fix the internet connection, the file transfer protocol, the necessary domains, and so on and so forth. So with teamwork, everyone's strength becomes part of the puzzle. So that is how they accomplish the task at hand. So even if they are apart, they can be working together. Like in Accenture, there's the senior manager. She has 3 countries to take care of. She has Brazil, she has the Philippines, and she also has India. So even if the countries are scattered around the globe, the senior manager is apart from them, but they are working together. Now, the funny thing is, short trivia, she had to go to India because there's one employee, one programmer who doesn't follow the instructions. So can you imagine, she booked a flight to India just to reprimand that employee. And then she came back to the Philippines again. So it's also part of being a manager, to make sure that every person in the team is doing what is expected of them. And then a successful team beats with one heart. So we know our focus, we know our targets. So that's what it means. And teamwork divides the task and doubles the success, meaning the art of delegation. So if you know that you have a deadline, and it so happens that in achieving that deadline, you won't be able to do everything. So good managers know when to delegate. And it's not just delegating the task. I, for one, had an experience wherein I delegated the task, but it so happened that that person whom I delegated the task to wasn't able to do all the tasks. Why? Because he's doing other tasks as well. So good managers know when to delegate the task and identifies the right person who will do the task. Okay, so you can only know this after experience. That's why, guys, when you start working, you really have to prove yourself to the company every day, especially for the probationary employees. So when they give you a task, do it urgently, do it with a sense of urgency. Like, you always have to know that your boss needs this, so he needs it, and you have to deliver so that he can rely on you. So how did I know whom to trust? Because after experience with one particular employee, and then he was able to deliver the task immediately, I gave him the next task, right? So with this, I am able to achieve the target. And at the same time, he also gets a good performance evaluation from me. Take note, your superiors will be the ones who will recommend you for regularization. So after the probationary period, some, they have 6 months probationary period, meaning they're going to check if you can do your task efficiently and effectively. After that, you will be recommended for regularization, meaning you get the benefits, you get to stay at the company, of course, for a longer time. But then we have the yearly evaluation. Like when I was still in I used to work in the industry. So they gave us yearly evaluations. And from that's how we get our salary increases. And we also get perks, like some, they give us vouchers for, like we can purchase stuff in different stores. Some, it could be gift check. So it depends on the company. Okay. Some, they even give like perks for those, like because we traveled in my previous company, I get to travel. So it depends on the perks of the company. But the point is, you have to know why you want to work in that company so that you can be part of the success of that company. And as I asked you in the mock job interview, how can you contribute to the success of our company? So that's why I asked that question, because you are always going to be part of the success of every company if that is your intent. So it's really a collection of brilliant minds, or a brilliant collection of minds. So teams share the burden and divide the grief. Like there was a time wherein, I think I was in my third job. I was supposed to be in Cotabato, but there are the terror strikes at that time. So there are Rebels in Cotabato. I didn't want to go to Cotabato with the consultant. So we can talk to the employer or to the superior. So if there are cases like that, you can always bring it up to them. Of course, you can just have a private meeting with your superior. Now, getting good players is easy. Getting them to play together is the hard part. Talent wins games, but teamwork and intelligence wins championships. Like right now, the Philippine Basketball Association started their face-to-face games. And if you like basketball, you know, there's San Miguel, there's Ginebra, there's Meralco, NLEX, etc. For every basketball team, they are of course, they are independent. Some, they really want to have their own ways. So you as a good manager should know how to work with the different personalities of your team. So that's why coaches are really good in doing that, bringing out the best in each of his team member or in each basketball player under him. So I just want you to continue reading this. So it's really more about how teamwork takes place. And then I also want you to check out this particular file. So it's about important leadership skills for workplace success. So this is the balanced career. So the 5 essential leadership skills, so which were already mentioned. What makes an effective leader? And it was already mentioned, you have communication. So have an open door policy at the office. So in your case, you can have, if it's online, you can have like, there's this senior manager, what she does is in her calendar, the rest of the employees can see what time she is available for consultations. Then motivation, bring out the best in each of your teammates. So if someone is good in the arts, then tell them, you know, you're really creative because that's the truth, right? And or if someone is really efficient, then tell that person you're really efficient, and you can give recognitions. Now, third, I've mentioned delegating, positivity. There is always the possibility of conflict. So you can check this out, how to manage conflict. Okay. And then trustworthiness. So that depends also on experience. So if you have been my student in the past, and then you're going to be asking me for a character reference, what I remember from you when you were still my student will be my words for you. So like some people put in a good word for me, they'll request that. If I remember something that you've done very well, then that will reach the ears of the one who is asking for your background check, which is done by the HR. So that's trustworthiness. When you're given a task and you do it well, that's being a trustworthy person. Creativity, think out of the box. Feedback, as I've mentioned, always ask for the feedback from your team. Are you experiencing any obstacles? Like suddenly the client backed out. So what shall you do? That's a contract breach. So shall you consult the lawyers immediately? Or, you know, so you have to be able to do that. You know, always be updated with your team and always give them suggestions. Responsibility, so doing what you have to do. So there's also transparency, meaning tell them, like in my first job, the company was being sold to another company because what the administrators did, well, in schools they call them administrators, but for us, the executive management or the top management, what they did, they talked to us, they told us the status of the company, and that's how we learned that we're going to be acquired by another company. So that's when companies started merging, or there's what you call the new management. Then commitment. A person who is committed doesn't resign every year. Like I know some students of mine, and they're already earning a lot, but they would keep resigning. And it's not just every year. Like some, they're just there for 3 months, they will resign, and then they will go to another company and then resign. That's not commitment, because that person obviously is just committed either to the salary or to just having a certain experience for a very short time. So that's not commitment. So your resume also reflects if you're a committed employee. So what is the suggestion? I got this suggestion, at least 2 years. Stay with the same company for at least 2 years. That way, they will think, this employee, if we accept this person in our company, he could probably stay for 2 years. So that's good enough, right? Better than 3 months. And then the flexibility skill. So like what happened when we're suddenly all surprised, where we're caught unaware by this pandemic. Every industry in the entire world had to adapt to the changing times. So I even remember we have an industry partner. They got many learning management systems as the client's request. So it wasn't often that they have schools. So that's because schools needed to be flexible, and they adopted the online platform for their operations. And that is also being flexible. Now, if you're an individual, you have to be flexible. Like if you know that you have to be online at a certain given point in time, then adjust your schedule. You have to be ready. So the night before, like, you can already prepare. For example, I already checked last night what will be the lesson for today. I'm going to Tamara. What should I bring? So even the clothes that I'm going to wear for the entire week, I already prepared them. So you're already able to be prepared, like Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts. Always be prepared. And then, aside from that, be open to any changes in the plan. Like that is the way how to be flexible. You can adapt to certain changes in your work schedule or even in life. So those are the 10 top leadership skills. And just to summarize what we've done today, we've had the OJT portfolio recap, the different requirements that you have to comply with. And you also had your management and leadership lesson, the leadership video. After that, you have your teamwork. And after the teamwork, the top 10 leadership skills that are required and what companies are really looking for.